Moving on to one of the main vanilla structures in Minecraft, the Desert Temple. First things first, I basically quadruple the size of it because we need something massive to stand out in the desert. The entrance of the original Desert Temple looks somewhat like a face, so I thought a massive skull would work perfectly to replicate this on a much more grand scale. Plus, it's very intimidating. Centuries ago, this is where the evil pharaoh who ruled this region stored his most precious possessions. There may just be a whole story about that and how it went wrong. Now, I won't lie, this skull is from an old build where I transformed an amplified world, but I couldn't pass up on the opportunity of reusing it here, although I did have to make a lot of tweaks. Firstly, I adjust and reattach the lower jaw as I wanted to open the skull's mouth to act as the entrance. Then I go around making general adjustments as something just felt a little bit off about the design and I couldn't wrap my head around what it might be. Eventually, I noticed that the cranium was too large and looked disproportionate. I also made adjustments to the upper jaw and once fixed, positioned it up against the side of the pyramid with a much more animated and realistic result. I build up a large wall of pillars and connect them up to the jawline of the skull. To finish up the entrance, I ignite the skull's eye sockets and create a staircase leading inside. The other main feature of the vanilla temple's design are these two large towers that sit on the front two corners of the pyramid. I etch into the sandstone with orange terracotta and red sandstone accents we used on the previous wall and played around with varying supports. Then I detailed the center with the Eye of Ra. Ancient Egyptians associated it with the destructive power of the sun. They also used this symbol to protect buildings and themselves. So it seemed only appropriate to use it to decorate the pharaoh's temple. On the second level of the tower, I build a statue based on my take on an ancient Egyptian Magi. The Magi were an elite force used to protect valuable areas, so they're a perfect addition to our paranoid pharaoh's temple. I add crenellations and build a snake symbol on the other side, as this was used to symbolize royalty in ancient Egypt. You may recognize some of these patterns and designs as they featured on my original Desert Temple transformation build. However, I used them sparingly, as I didn't want there to be too much going on. I say that as I'm literally adding a giant fire brazier to finish the tower, so there's definitely some irony there. To complete the exterior of the pyramid, I split the main body of the pyramid up into 3 sections, lining it with this small wall, creating walkways on each level. I then place the fire braziers on each corner and mirror the entire design all the way around. Then I add this triangular shape protruding from the side of the pyramid, which acts as a side entrance. I then embed that orange accent color to finish the design. With the pyramid transformed, I reposition it into the desert and blend the sand dunes into the design. Before we move on, however, I've got to transform the interior. I wanted to go for a very clean interior, to match that of the vanilla pyramid, so I flattened off the walls and built large pillars to support an upper balcony. I then continued to add more large pillar supports, add some fire braziers and lava channels, and decorate the floor with an exaggerated version of the original design. Our menacing pyramid is complete, and beneath lies the pharaoh's tomb filled with treasure and secrets. Just be sure you don't miss a step, as it's rigged with booby traps. Before moving on from the desert biome, I wanted to include a few custom builds, starting with the ruins. Now, as I mentioned, in this fantasy land, this particular region was